We're back on Insider TV, and Georgia Southern's a fine program at the FCS level. 30 years of football. Irk Russell started that program. We left Georgia as defensive coordinator. They've had a great line of football teams that were awesome. Number of national championships at the then 1AA level, now FCS. But they've never beaten a Division 1A opponent. They're 0-15 all time. They do run the flex bone, which is hard to prepare for. Obviously, it's a game Alabama should win, but with Auburn looming the next week, do you worry a little bit about the Tide maybe not being quite as focused as they need to be?
First of all, those uniforms look familiar, don't they?
They look just like Alabama. You change the crimson to the blue, and that's what you got.
They do, and they used to call it the ham bone.
That's right.
They run that option.
Tracy
Ham was a little quarterback, about 5'8", could run it as well as anybody. But, you know, Gary, again, Alabama's clearly, you know, superior team. And, you know, certainly I think it's going to give them some work on the option and maybe give them some issues, but, you know, Alabama should handle them easily.
All right, later on in the show, we will make our predictions for Saturday afternoon. Right now, let's talk Alabama basketball. The Tide is off and running. They had an exhibition game a week ago Monday, then opened the regular season with a 64-44 win on Friday night over University of North Florida. Then last night, Rodney, I got to call the game against a very good Oakland University team, a team that has won 75 games the last 3 years, been to back-to-back NCAA tournaments. Beat Tennessee in Knoxville last year where they were ranked number 7. Took Texas down to the wire in the NCAA tournament, averaged 85 points a game last year, and Alabama held them to 74-57. I'm telling you, this is a team that's got a lot of athleticism, got those young freshmen mixing in there with Green, Relaford, and Mitchell, and I think got a chance to be really good.
Well, you know, Gary, you've had an opportunity to watch them plenty, and somebody asked me to ask you what your assessment of the freshmen.
Well, a lot more impressed with them after seeing them last night. I thought the first game on Friday, they looked like freshmen, maybe a little bit uncomfortable, but last night, every one of them, even Nick Jacobs, the power forward out of Atlanta, seemed to get comfortable in the lineup. Cooper, Lacey, and Randolph can be special. I mean, they are all versatile players, and they're going to be really, really good. In fact, at one point last night against a good team, there were 4 true freshmen on the floor for Alabama. So I think this team, as they head to Puerto Rico for a tournament down there, has a chance to do what I've said they should do all along. That's make it into the NCAA tournament. All right, let's get to the phones. We got people lined up to talk with us. First up tonight is John in Bessemer. John, welcome into TITV, buddy. What's going on?
Hey, Gary, what's going on, man?
Hey, man.
Hey, man, I want to know, can Arkansas beat LSU, knock them off so Alabama come back?
Well, absolutely. I mean, you know, I'm not predicting right now that they will, but if you studied, you know, matchups are so important. You know, for whatever reason, Arkansas has had some really good teams, but they can't get over the hump against Alabama. Right now, Alabama seems to struggle against LSU, and LSU seems to struggle against Arkansas. Even in 07 when they won the national championship, Arkansas went down there to Baton Rouge and beat them. And Bobby Petrino, great coach. This is a team, man, you know, I'm glad Alabama's already played them. It's a tough game for LSU.
Yeah, you know, Gary, and I mentioned on TiderInsider.com that I thought Arkansas had a great shot at beating LSU, and a lot of people disagreed with me. But again, as you mentioned, it's a game of matchups. I think when you look at Arkansas's offense, John, they're going to have the ability to, I think, score some points, throw the football a little bit on LSU, and they're going to force LSU to have to score some points, play a little bit more of an up-tempo, kind of get LSU out of their style a little bit. If they do that, I think they have an outstanding shot to beat LSU. Now, if you're an Alabama fan, you really would like an opportunity at a rematch with LSU, so you would prefer, I would think, Oklahoma State losing to Alabama, moving up and getting a shot to win the national championship against LSU.
Whatever scenario is played out, it's going to be interesting in the next few weeks, that's for sure. Let's stay here in Tuscaloosa. Talk with our good buddy CB. CB, what's up, man?
I'm going to tell y'all tonight, gentlemen, y'all looking mighty sharp. Listen, I know you ain't supposed to look ahead, and we need to try to keep everybody well, but, you know, this Auburn, I tell you, after last year, it's just a game. I can't get over it. Maybe we can keep players well and get ready for players and fans. All
right, CB. Yeah, I think that there'll be some coaching staff decisions based on making sure everybody's well and healthy. First thing you got to do is you got to get the game in hand against Georgia Southern. But a guy like Barry Jones, who sat out against Mississippi State with an ankle, I'm sure they won't play him unless they're confident that it won't affect him going forward against Auburn. Anybody else that's nicked, I'm sure that will be on the coaching staff's mind, that they've got Auburn the next week. So, yeah, I do think that's a factor. At the same time, like I said, you don't want to go out there and you know, be lethargic against Georgia Southern. You want to play as many good football players as you can, but they certainly want to get everybody healthy going into the Auburn game.
Well, and we've also had some questions, Gary, about Jesse Williams, his shoulder injury, and you know there was some concern there, and I think he'll be ready for Auburn. I don't think, just my guess is he wouldn't play this Saturday, but I do think, from what I've been told, that he will be fully ready to go against Auburn. So,
all right, Stephanie there in West Jefferson, you hold on. We're going to get to you when we come back. More phone calls right after this. And we're back on Insider TV. Right back to the phones we go. Stephanie's been holding in West Jefferson. Stephanie, welcome into the program.
Thank you. Yes, is Alabama starting their 2012 season against Virginia Tech at Dallas Stadium?
You're half right, Stephanie. They are going to play at the new stadium out there in Arlington, Texas, but it will be against the University of Michigan next season. Then I think they're getting Virginia Tech
in Atlanta,
in 2013. You know, Nick Saban loves these kind of games, Stephanie. They wanted to try to play, wants to try to play one every year. Sometimes schedule makes it impossible to do, but they get Michigan next year out there in Arlington, Texas, and then Virginia Tech back in Atlanta in 2013. Let's take an email, and this is from Jack in Tuscaloosa. Trent Richardson in the Heisman voting. Well, I don't have a vote, Jack. I'm going to tell you right now. If I had a vote, he would be number one on my ballot, and I'll tell you why. Everybody's saying, well, he didn't have a good game against LSU. Oh, yes, he did. When you look at the total yards by Alabama in that game, and he had 169 of them, and Alabama was under 300 yards total offense for the game, I thought he had a very good game. If Michael Williams makes that catch, then he's going to score a touchdown on the next play from 1 yard out. He's going to have a touchdown, 169 yards total offense. I don't think you can penalize Trent Richardson for the fact that Alabama's offense in that game struggled. That's just my thought. He would be number one. Where I think he's going to finish, I don't think he's going to win it.
Yeah, probably not. But I haven't understood, Gary, especially after watching the Stanford game, all the fascination with Luck. So it is kind of, I would say, up in the air. Now, if he were to have a really big game against Georgia Southern, kind of like the game, if you remember a couple of years ago in the national championship year when Ingram played, and the week before the Auburn game, have a 100-plus yards, 3 touchdowns, something like that, then have a really good game against Auburn, you never know.
Yeah, I think the guy to watch right now is the quarterback at Oklahoma State with the kind of numbers that he's running up. 28 years old, he'd be the oldest Heisman winner ever, although Winky,
older than Winky, 26, 27.
Yeah. All right, one more email to get to, and this one is from Tori in Birmingham. Wants to know if Barry Jones will be ready for Georgia Southern. I don't know, and we kind of talked about a little bit about this earlier, Tori. I think if he's not 100%, they probably hold him out. They think he's good to go. He'll play some, but they want to make sure he's ready for Auburn. He didn't play against Auburn last year. They don't want that happening again.
Yep, I wouldn't think he would play, nor would I think that Jesse Williams, as I mentioned earlier.
All right, coming up, it's prediction time. Rodney and I are both 9-1 on the season, just like the Tide. We'll give you our picks on the Georgia Southern game when Tider Insider TV returns here on a Tuesday night. Tuscaloosa, Alabama. It's prediction time, and we're both 9-1. We're just like Alabama. We missed the LSU game as well.
Pretty close on the score last week.
We've been pretty close all year.
I picked 23-9. I think you were 28-6, and it was 24-7.
We've been pretty good on the scores all year. We've been pretty close, and I think that's going to be the case again this week. How do you see it?
Well, again, Gary, I don't think there's any question that Alabama's going to win the game. It's just by how much, and when you look at it, you look at the way Georgia Southern runs that option, so I think they're going to run a lot of clock or could run clock, and not many passes stopping the clock. So, again, I think it keeps the score down a little bit, 38-zip.
I'm right there with you offensively. I think Alabama will score some points. I don't think they're going to hit 50 or 60. I just think the way the game's going to be played is going to dictate that. Alabama's got 2 shutouts already on the season. That's an amazing number. Probably should have more, but as we've seen, it's just so hard to get a shutout. It's really difficult. So I think Georgia Southern will scratch a couple of field goals, maybe a touchdown, but I'm going to pick it 38-6 Alabama, and then get this one out of the way and get ready for the Iron Bowl. And certainly Alabama will be looking for some payback at Jordan-Hare Stadium this year. We'll discuss that next week on Tider Insider TV. And remember our radio show tomorrow night, Tider Insider Radio, all over the state of Alabama, beginning at 6 o'clock. All right, that's going to do it for the program. Don't forget, we're headed to Buddy's Rib and Steak over in Northport for dinner. Be there about 7:15. Come and join us. A lot of you have been doing that. We got a big round table there we sit at. You're welcome to sit down and eat a good meal and talk some football with us. And don't forget, we'll have the entire show on our website, WVUATV.com. We'll have the telecast posted later on this evening. Rodney Orr, I'm Gary Harris. Thanks for watching. This is Tider Insider TV. We'll see you next week.